On today's show, we wind the clock back to 2006 and head to Sydney Dragway in Western Sydney, where we look back on the season opener for the 2006-07 ANDRA Drag Racing season. It's the East Coast Nationals, featuring the Group 1 categories of Top Doorslammer, Pro Stock and Pro Stock Motorcycle. Then we wind forward to 2010 and head across the ditch to Auckland in New Zealand and to North Harbour Stadium. We look back on all the action from round 4 of the Monster Energy Super X Supercross series, incorporating the Australian Supercross Championship. This is Speedweek.
Whilst the big names atop Doorslammer tumbled around him, Steve STANIC of Lucky BRAY Racing slipped underneath the radar to claim his maiden championship victory in 05-06. Battling the likes of the Bray, Zapier, Phillips and Stevens, STANIC's achievement takes on even greater significance, and for such a low-budget operation, the Doorslammer crown is just reward for a long and trying season.
Very much a privately backed team. Lucky supplies everything for the car. He bankrolls the whole operation, so to be able to come away, like you say, with the level of competition that this bracket has, to come out on top of them, it really is an accomplishment. Obviously with the lock-up clutch, we had consistency with the car, which played a huge part of it. We could go out there most meetings and be fairly certain we were going to produce a number. It might not have been necessarily the quickest number on the day, but it was enough to keep us in the field and definitely enough to go rounds. Unfortunately for this year, we put a whole new combination. We've got new heads, new supercharger, new fuel pump, new clutch, and we only had really 3 passes or 2 passes last weekend to sort of get it sorted. This week we've had the first full passes on the new combination and we've been getting closer. We're not quite there, and on the last pass last night we thought we were going to go the right direction, but it ended up burning the clutch out of it. So we've got John first round and he's just been rattling off 6 overs like there's no tomorrow, but yeah, we'll throw something at it, and if it sticks, we'll give him a show.
With a limited budget to work with, Lucky BRAY Racing will have to take a strategic approach to the season for a title repeat to become a reality.
I think we're going to be a bit behind the 8 ball to start. If we can sort of pick it up by the time we go to Queensland. And like I say, if you do well in Perth, you'll be doing well in the championship. So as long as we get a few more runs on this combination, we are sneaking up on it. You know, because we don't have a major sponsor, we can't just go out there and throw everything at it. We can't really afford to go hurt it. If we hurt it, you know, we're really back to square one, and then you're chasing your tail. So we just have to go easy and try and get there.
One of the most iconic cars in the top Doorslammer paddock is the Moonshine Bandit of West Aussie Robin Judd. A long-time battler in the championship 05-06 was a breakout year for Judd, finding the ETs and consistency required to mount a serious title challenge.
We've made a few improvements. We had a recurring problem with the engine, which we fixed, and we also got our lock-up clutch mechanism, which is allowed under the rules. We've got that working properly, and just a nice tune-up. Well, we're going to do more of the same. Where we left off last year, we had some fairly quick and consistent numbers, and we want to try and repeat that again, so we'll start where we left off. Oh, in the off-season, we've done our general maintenance like we usually do. We don't quite get as long these days, but it's just generally tweaking here and there, and looking at other 1% changes we can make to help improve our performance. You just concentrate on your own game plan, and you just go out there to try and run the best you can with the safest setup to start with, and then you start stepping it up a little bit from there. I think it's really great. From a spectator's viewpoint, it should be terrific because there's, for example, this meeting this weekend, there's 20 cars trying to get into 8 spots, and that makes it really competitive. Well, I think the winner of the championship will run a 5-second pass during the season. I think it will need to, he or she will need to qualify in the top half of the field on a regular basis. We'll need to qualify for each and every round, and at least get through to semi-final and a final. So it'll be the most consistent that wins. My personal goals with the race car is to run a 5-second pass if we can, if the conditions permit, to try and win the championship and to win as many rounds as we possibly can.
Previous top Doorslammer champion Ben Bray is clawing his way back to the top of the podium after struggling to find the tune-up last season, finishing the qualifying round in second place. The only two Doorslammers to hit the 5-second mark are Aaron Lynch and John Zapier. The title is Zapier's, but Lynch is looking for a fight, qualifying fourth. Zapier returned to the scene of the time, where exactly 1 year ago he posted a record and still undisputed ET. Looking to emulate his past performance, Zapier emerged from qualifying with the trigger cocked, walking into round one in pole position. And so qualifying sees Zapier on top with a 005, Bray a 109, Kapiris 132, Lynch 133. How competitive is that?
One of the most popular drag racing categories, in fact, one of the most popular motorsport categories in Australia. Top Doorslammer, the fastest sedan-based vehicles, at least the fastest accelerating sedan-based vehicles on planet Earth. And Victor BRAY has done it quicker and better than most for many a long year. The Castrol Edge 57 Chev, beautifully turned out, and great to see him. Well, he is keen to get off onto a flyaway to really have a strong say in the championship from the get-go.
Anybody that says that Wife Marie is not the boss of that race team better look again. Even to the last minute before Victor hammers the gas, she guides him back. I love this car, the Peter Kapiris Batmobile, closest to camera. It's an ugly run from Peter Kapiris. The line markers are spraying to Kimbo, and the king is through.
6.26, he's gone way quicker than that. 226 miles an hour, so obviously a bit of trouble during that run. Yeah, a little bit of slip of the tyres. A lot of drivers backing off the setups of these cars in the early part of the run due to the cool, very cool track and weather conditions generally at the moment, but Victor did enough. Looking at our next matchups here, two very tough customers. Gary PHILLIPS had a very spectacular AC Delco East Coast Nationals event 12 months earlier, had the best view of Zapier's 5-second run. Aaron Lynch, the B&L Steel Machine, also another competitor, also having a play in Top Alcohol.
Great looking Corvette, there's no doubt about it. It's just a sweet looking ride as he comes up against Gary PHILLIPS in the Lucas Oil Studebaker. Gee, that's a great looking vet. It's just got so much character about it. As you can see, got the digital dash, plenty of gauges, and a dirty big tacho right in the middle of all of it.
Amazing too when you see these guys in these cars. They do drive them down the quarter mile. Very busy behind the wheel of one of these awesome cars. Gary PHILLIPS, one of the few uncharted areas, I guess, in his incredible drag racing career is to take out an Australian Top Doorslammer Championship. He was chasing it hard last year, didn't quite go his way. Also saw his Top Alky crown snatched away by the kid Ben Bray. He wants to kick off this brand new drag racing season in style, but Lynch, well, he's the other 5-second star, did it in Willowbank. It was a red light run, but who cared? It was a 5-second blast. He was legal. So he's got the horsepower, he's got the tune-up, and got the ability.
Has he got the luck? That's what plays a big part in all of it.
Yep.
It can play such an important role. It shouldn't do, but it does. Here he comes, bringing it in the stage. PHILLIPS in there early.
Big matchup, first round eliminations, Top Doorslammer.
It's over, Dino. It is over. PHILLIPS in supreme form.
Yeah, still a soft run though. Well, not too bad. 6.20, 227 miles an hour, but we've seen quicker. We've seen 6.0s from this car in the past, but a good grip on the track conditions. Speaking about grip, Lynch, that was his problem, getting off that racing line, spinning the tyres, and was out of the game. Good win to PHILLIPS.
Out comes the immaculate Monaro now of Ben Bray. The Castrol Edge entry just looks sweet, big, strong, smoky burnout. A long history of that, of course, and Grant O'Rourke, a man where anything can and usually does happen.
Yes, the West Coast Choppers, Monaro. Speaking about Monaros, the kid Ben Bray, this Murray Anderson chassis, this Murray Anderson constructed car from down south in Victoria. This car had some fancy front-end suspension at one stage. It really looked unusual when it launched from the start line, but they've decided to revert back to a more conventional Doorslammer tune-up and setup, accentuate mainly the weight transfer and handling in the back half of the car. And the kid, well, he wants to get off to a flyer here. He wants to really reclaim that Australian Top Doorslammer Championship crown from Steve STANIC.
Just see in the background, great crowd here watching as Bray and Kapiris get dragged back in front of the fans. That's a really great part of visiting the Western Sydney circuit. The Wizard experience includes getting to cheer your heroes as they come back after their run.
Yeah, they love the fact you can come back on the return road and cheer for your favourite driver, your winners and losers, commiserate those who with those who lost, should I say. But of course, you can go to the pits too and have a look at these teams work and turn and service these cars, and certainly the very brutal high RPM engines, almost 3,000 horsepower in cars that, let's be honest, were not built for that kind of engine capacity and power.
He's going to have to put a big drive in to beat Ben BRAY, but stranger things have happened. And the strange story continues. O'Rourke hands out the smackdown with a 6.15.
Now that is a run for the West Coast Choppers machine. He has put Ben BRAY away. Big wheel shake, big tyre shake, smoking those tyres, overpowering the racetrack. And Grant O'Rourke takes the win. That is his best ET, certainly, the Western Sydney International Dragway.
The old down by the new Monaro copying a bit of a hammering from the older style body.
How's this Monaro?
Speaking of which, this is a legendary entry. The striker crushing and screening Rentco transport equipment entry of the Rat, John Zapier. And they talk in hushed tones in Western Australia about the Rat. He is absolutely revered.
Excuse me while I go on one bended knee, being a West Aussie.
Steve STANIC, I hope you're not proposing. Steve STANIC, the Lucky Baleri Racing Camaro. Remember when this car first came on strong? In fact, didn't it win the first ever event at this circuit?
Certainly did, and it's got support sponsorship from Lockwood. Of course, talking about lock-up with Lockwood, lock-up clutches is where John Zapier has it mastered. Even in the cool conditions like this, Victor BRAY and Ben BRAY talking to them in the pits way. They're in awe of this guy. He just knows when to go one-to-one in the drive line at the right time and really hook this Monaro up and just strike a crushing blow, shall we say, to his rival.
Very nice. Well, in they come. The team too have been long-time members of this operation.
Absolutely.
This is hardly what you'd call a new combination for the guys. There's nothing pretty about them. They're just guys that love their drag racing and get it done bare knuckle style.
And yet again this year, John Zapier spending a lot of time servicing the car after the qualifying session yesterday. Some issues with the car. They're always walking that tightrope from joy to agony. It's a fine line. It was last year. They were up all night, and their pay dirt was the win in the AC Delco East Coast Nationals. Can he back it up? Can he go 5 seconds again?
Oh, Mr. Zapier! How good is he? A 6-0 with a pair of twos, and he almost goes sub-6 again.
Hello, Australian champion. Zap's Rat is back in the Wizard House, and he's just put you on the trailer. Out of the game. Tough break for Steve STANIC. They've had troubles with magnetos and MSD boxes all event. It has continued, but John Zapier kicks butt. Season 05-06 saw the debut of the talented Shane Tucker in the Pro Stock bracket. In a field of ripened veterans, Tucker exceeded all expectations in an outstanding rookie season.
Oh, look, you know, I don't think I could have really imagined I could have had a year like I had. I mean, we've got a pretty good team behind me, and when John Smith gave me the opportunity to drive the car, I mean, I thought I'd like to grab it with both hands if I could have, and I think we made the most of the opportunities we had last year. And maybe we can go one step further this year. When you come up against guys that have been doing a lot longer than you sort of got to put your best foot forward and try and, you know, take the opportunity and run with it. But a lot of the times they don't let you do that because they've been doing the game a lot longer than you.
The off-season has brought new challenges to the team and the bracket, but they return this season with their sights firmly set on the 06-07 championship crown.
We've struggled a little bit. We haven't made some good runs in the right conditions, but we're still waiting on a new engine for this thing. So, like I said, we've got to do the best with what you got, and at the moment we don't exactly have our best gear, but we'll make do. There's no easy race in this class. Everyone's really close, but John Andropoulos is running pretty strong in his Dodge, and Andrew Stravulakis, they both tested pretty well, and this is their home track, so they're probably going to be pretty tough to beat. I've put a couple of good performances together, hopefully piece together a few wins and just do the best I can.
Round one of Pro Stock qualifying got off to a slow start, with Bruce Leake failing to make the cut. Opponent Peter PHILLIPS just scraping in to qualify 8th. Next up, it was Aaron Tremaine and Nick Zarakis. The Tremaniac upped the ante with an impressive time of 7.260. Hot on their tails were the fiercely competitive Andrew Stavroulakis and John Andropoulos. Andropoulos set the mark with an awesome time of 7.186, putting him in the top spot. Keen to keep up the pace, Shane Tucker ran a solid time of 7.3 seconds against Zarakis. Both went through to round one, with Tucker qualifying 3rd. Grimer and Polito are up next, both drivers running average times. Despite this, Grimer went on to qualify 5th. The last pass of the 3rd qualifying session spelled disaster for reigning champ David Rogan, who had a collision with the wall during his burnout sequence. Welcome everyone to the AC Delco East Coast Nationals Pro Stock Eliminator action. The factory hot rods, as they say in the classic, these cars beautifully turned out.
Absolutely, and Dennis Whiting, doesn't his car look just sensational now? The Travelair Tours entry looks sweet.
Jason Grimer for hard haulage next to him here. This is a tough matchup. Great crowd in the house. Perfect air and weather conditions for naturally aspirated cars like Pro Stock vehicles.
Bit of vroom voya there for you as we get set to start the Polito Engines entry of Grimer. Set now, waiting for them both to come into stage. Whiting taking his time. And wastes little time in wasting Grimer.
How aggressive at the tree, both with awesome reaction times. Whiting with a better one and a better ET. 7.32, just under 300 kilometres an hour out of a carburetted 400 cubic inch car. And that is simply awesome. And tracking straight, tracking fast. Grimer just a little soft in the tune-up. They've been chasing that car all weekend. He can go way quicker than that.
Beautiful looking Ford Pro, but Whiting puts him away. Magnificent looking car. Speaking of which, Shane Tucker, the kid that may well have it all. The advanced sheet metal and marine entry up against the rolling work of art, Andrew Stavroulakis.
Yes, the Stavroulakis machine, certainly a beautifully turned out car. It is as well. Shane Tucker, you look at Shane outside of this car, he's a big, muscly young guy. You'd expect him to drive something a little more supercharged, you'd expect, but no, he likes the smooth lines and the precision it takes to drive a Pro Stock quick.
Little those gauges to keep your eye on, as well as those shifts that you've got in just over 5 seconds. Stavro, just an amazing piece of art on the bonnet. We're a bit of a one-eyed Stavro fan as well, aren't we?
Yeah, interesting. Some of the Andropoulos crew, the K&N Filters crew, are just sitting behind Stavroulakis here. The Best Mufflers entry, PRE Race Engines entry. The PRE engines certainly have come into a position of dominance in this particular racing bracket, with a few of particularly the Sydney teams campaigning those engines, and they've been very strong.
Note the digital dash too on the bonnet, on the Stavro dash compared to this car here. You can see the onboard camera in there as well, getting some great shots. Shane Tucker, what can he do? Impressive young man.
He was so close to an Australian Championship last year. He wants to start in style here.
Awesome reaction times, Dino.
Very, very close. And look at that, Shane Tucker. That is a drag race. Big time. In fact, that is a whole shot win. 7.263 beats a 7.261 by the virtue of a better reaction time. That's what we want to see out of Pro Stock. Nothing in it.
Just a great start from both these guys. Reaction time in particular from Tucker was near perfect. But a great run for the young man, the glamour boy of Pro Stock Racing. Bit of smoke he was trailing there as well. But Stavro goes out the back door, unfortunately. So the high-speed travelling art show goes out the window. Tucker goes in. Aaron Tremaine, I like this family. I like the way they go racing. Wow, look at the shift light going on inside there as he prepares for the burnout. Aaron Tremaine.
Just listening to the timing of the engines and the carburetors that these things run, they're just the sweetest sounding car. And I would suggest to anyone that goes to an event, be it a Willowbank or Western Sydney way, they go to the pits and listen to one of these cars fire up in the pits. They're just a sweet sound, these Pro Stock cars.
If you ever listen to Speedweek, you can hear at the end at every clip, there's a great sounding Pro Stock shift on that each time as Absolutely. The Tremaniac backs it up. Look at the concentration in his eyes, and that's just backing it up into stage. See the bit of red tape just on the steering wheel to show him where the front wheels are straight. This is a very wild looking car too, the Zarakis entry. emphasis on standing out from a satellite point of view.
Absolutely, particularly with the brilliant lighting we have here at Western Sydney International Dragway. Huge match-up, the first round of the Australian Championship drag racing season for Pro Stock for all our drag racing eliminators here. Now, Nick Zarakis actually took out the AC Delco East Coast Nationals, not last season, but the season prior to that, actually took out the Pro Stock win. So, well, he's been here before. Can he achieve it again?
Zarakis, the big scoop on the hood, powered by Zarakis. Set for a start, Tremaine and Zarakis here at the AC Delcos at Western Sydney. Beautiful shots down on the front line.
Taking their time to come into stage. That is a common trait with Pro Stock. They're playing a bit of a staging game. Tremaine creeps in, waiting on Zarakis. He's there now. And Zarakis did the biz at the tree and holds on again with a great run. Another whole shot win. The slower ET, but the win nonetheless.
How good are the reaction times, though? They're all .0s, aren't they? Just amazing with their reaction times. Zarakis away cleanly. I kept expecting Tremaine to come at him. He never really had the chance. Zarakis had it to the floor. Just see the shift light again reflecting on the Tremaine helmet, but Nick goes through. Good run. Joe Polito there in the Motorsport Parts and Services entry. Nice, healthy, smoky burnout. And John Andriopoulos. This category is just chock full of personalities and phenomenal looking race cars. In my mind, it's almost as tough in many respects as the Doorslammer in terms of its appeal to the public.
Spot on actually, Wade, because the talk has been throughout the drag racing fraternity this season. The number of new cars in this bracket is unbelievable. We've had like 14 or 15 cars to wrestle into an 8-car Pro Stock field, and there are more cars coming online throughout the season as it progresses in 06-07.
Joe Polito there just getting set. The guys, as always, Dino spoke about it before, the mind games they play on the line. Both guys into stage early. Awesome reaction times.
Andropoulos just though, Wade, over. Look at the ET, the best we've seen so far in this round of elimination. 7.22, over 300 Ks an hour.
Both of them got away pretty smartly. In fact, Polito probably had the better run, but look at that, the top of the racetrack, it was all the K&N Airfielders Ella Bache Bullet. Have a look at him just rocketing past.
Polito just, well, he had the whole shot, but Andropoulos, he has the horsepower. The man who's become synonymous with success in pro bike in recent years is Daniel PEATEY, and his triumph last season is testament to his amazing ability. This year, not only does PEATEY have to adapt to new NHRA spec bikes, he will also have to contend with the label of the man everybody wants to be.
Oh yeah, it was a great season last year. We've got some great team behind us now. The sponsors and the crew did a great job, so we had a pretty well a faultless year last year, so we're looking forward to this year. Yeah, we've updated this year to NHRA spec rules, as in America, so we've got 2 complete NHRA spec engines, so yeah, we should see the performance really drop this year, so we're looking forward to it. Yeah, we went 18, 15 and 17 here last night, so it's consistently quick, so we're looking forward to race day. It's actually surprisingly, I don't know if the chassis come into its own now or what, but it's actually a lot smoother than it's ever been. We've got a 6-speed gearbox this year instead of the 5-speed, so that's close ratio gearbox has changed things a bit, so no, it's really smooth to ride and it's going well. For NHRA spec engine, looking about $50,000 Australian, so it's not small time anymore yet, so we've gone from what we had to the next level, so things are starting to pump up a little bit. You've got all the rest of the guys who are updating to new chassis, new wheels, engines. Yeah, it's really starting to happen, so it's good.
You started the season strongly last season. What would winning the AC Delco East Coast Nationals mean to you?
Like, that's a boost at the start of the season. It's good to get out with some good points straight up, hit them hard and hit them quick, so we're looking forward to it. I don't see any reason why we can't run teeths again tonight. Just depends what time we end up out there. The dew come in pretty heavy last night, so hopefully the dew doesn't come in so bad tonight. So the conditions are good. The weather's beautiful here in Sydney today, so we're looking forward to it.
The season's first qualifying session for Pro Stock Motorcycle got off to a solid start, with Dion Prowse running a respectable 7.413 against Callum Gadisi. Lee and Weston were up next, Weston running slightly off the pace with a 7.74 with a 2, and Lee running a disappointing 8.404. Phil Parker managed to qualify fourth with his time of 7.698. Hot on his heels was Shaw, qualifying fifth. Up next it was Gilbertson up against Daniel PEATEY. PEATEY was lightning quick off the line, and Gilbertson also went out hard, but it was PEATEY's time of 7.18 with a 3, which put him in the top spot. In the second qualifying session, David Shaw had another shot to try and beat his earlier time. He did just that, running a time of 7.85 seconds. It was a much better round for Lee, who was also keen to improve on his previous time. He scraped through, running an impressive 7.611. Again, it was PEATEY up against Michael Gilbertson. Both charged off the line, but it was the K&N Filters machine who ran the quickest ET of the day, a blistering 7.15 with a 5. In qualifying 3, PEATEY was up against Crowley for one last chance to better his previous time. Unfortunately, Crowley crossed the centre line, but PEATEY went on to run an impressive 7.177. Pro Stock Motorcycle action now, the AC Delco East Coast Nationals. Look at that crowd in the background. Huge field, huge crowd. David Shaw, now this particular eliminator, talking about categories are getting tougher. Of course, these machines now aligned with the United States of America for this season, and Daniel PEATEY has taken full toll of that in the K&N machine.
Always tough to watch. Generally, the only man that beats Dan PEATEY is Dan PEATEY. Let's see whether he can beat that nemesis. Oh, red light in the far lane. So PEATEY gets the get out of jail card immediately on that one. He'll run it through pretty stoutly with a 7.09.
Oh, that is world class. 7.09, 300 kilometres an hour. That is unbelievable. Look at him carrying that front wheel out of a naturally aspirated motorcycle. Unbelievable stuff from Dan PEATEY.
This team do such a great job. Dan, of course, the link to it, the man behind the bars, but behind him, a lot of people that make that bike go very fast. One of the real characters of the scene from North Queensland now, Michael Gilbertson, the Hog's Breath Cafe Kawasaki.
Yeah, great to see Gilbo still on the scene. Jason Lee also on the Dutch Master Plant Nutrients machine. Now, both these guys probably do it on a tighter budget than some, but certainly both are very capable. In fact, both of them have taken out major event wins in drag racing in the past. So this is an enticing matchup. No matter how you slice and dice it here at Western Sydney International Dragway, Gilbo straddling the green machine, ready to rip it down the quarter mile.
Just walking it down the line like those big wheels you had as a kid. Same colour, but eminently faster as Gilbo. The big wheelie bar at the back there to prevent the thing from just standing up and flipping right over.
Like those moon hoppers, mate. I can see you on one of those.
Absolutely. Look at the line that confronts him. Gilbo, the Hog's Breath Cafe Saloon and Grill, Kawasaki up against Jason Lee. Can Lee take care of Gilbo? It'll be a big effort.
Oh, that's a great win, should I say, for Michael Gilbertson. Unbelievable reaction time.
0.06 reaction, that's awesome.
That's alert at the Christmas tree. Let's have a look at it.
Now, Lee had a pretty good run going here, Dino. He actually started to come back at Gilbo at about half track. Here I thought, well, look out. But there was definitely problems for the black bike. The Dutch Master Indian started to slow. You see Lee looking concerned, and Gilbo gets away on the bright green Kawasaki.
As we continue our matchups here, Dion Prowse, the S&S Buell machine. This is another entry into the Brett Stevens Racing stable. Unbelievable bike. We've seen this bike in testing at Western Sydney in the past. And Dion Prowse has a Speedway motorcycle background and has decided to take a foray to drag racing, his first event, and he's into the eliminations phase.
Doing a great job with it, and certainly a big leap of faith from Brett Stevens, but he wanted someone with no bad habits. Someone that already had, a clean slate to work with. The front of that thing looks like a Harrier jet, dead set with those big air intakes. It looks fantastic. Graham Weston is a good, solid competitor. He'll make you work for your money. How early is he in stage? It's like, come on, let's get this deal run.
Absolutely, the new staging rules too. He has to wait in pre-stage until Prowse is there. If you go into full stage before your rival goes into pre-stage, you are disqualified. It has been a talking point in the pits, a new rule in the sport. Let's see who has this one. It's over before it began.
Weston, a cherry on the tree for him, and Prowse gets some R&D, a 7.37 with a 1 to 182.2 miles an hour, and it was all over before it began for Graham Weston.
Oh, look, that bike could have gone way quicker. It got that wheel up nicely on the launch. We're talking about Prowse on the S&S machine, but he got off the groove big time. You see that near the centre line, lost a bit of momentum, but to still run a 7.3, great run.
What people don't realise, perhaps out of the sport, Dean, is you walk onto that track at the end of the show, you cannot believe the difference between the line, the sticky line, and what is effectively the rest of the racetrack. It's phenomenally sticky.
Particularly with the cool air we've got at the moment too, Wade, like where the rubber is down on the track, it is quite sticky. There's good grip despite the cool conditions, but you just get on the traction compound where these bikes and cars haven't been racing, it is very slippery in the cool air.
Watch out for Callum Gadese. He's always tough, this man, the light alloy engineering entry. Look at him starting to wriggle up and get set. Great shots here. Sam Parker going to have his hands full with Callum, I think.
I love the steely gaze you get from these guys on the bikes in drag racing. You see the focus and you need it.
All over. Callum Gadese out of the hole big time.
Oh, slight speed wobble at the half-track mark for Gadese. Still runs a 7.3. That would have got his attention. Check this out on the replay.
All sorts of clutch issues or something there on the line for Parker. Unfortunately, the bike did not get out of the hole. Sponsor wanted. So if you get a chance, why not throw some bucks at this guy? It's got an honest approach to it all. Callum did it easy. Plenty more after the break. Make sure you stay with us.
Perhaps the biggest disappointment last season was seeing championship hopeful John Zapier rained out at the Winter Nationals. The slate is now wiped clean as we head into season 06-07. Zapier is determined to signal his intentions from the outset, and a busy off-season is testament to his dedication.
We tested straight after Willowbank, and our car ran a 610, 237, pretty sort of soft settings, so we were happy with that, and we thought, right, that's our testing. Now we're ready to go to Sydney. So then we've gone back and we've just been working on the transporter and the race car and building spare engine and just trying to accumulate the parts and get crew shirts done and get everything looking good. This year we've got Striker Crushing and Screening have come on board as the major sponsor, as the naming rights sponsor, and Renko is still the major sponsor, along with all the others. And we've now got spare engine and spare gearbox and a lot of extra parts so that we can have a good attack at the full season this year and try and eliminate some of those little silly things. The only thing we can't control is the weather, unfortunately. But we basically we want to run fives at every track in every lane. At least we want to try and do 2 5s at every track this year, because we've got so many fans that are dying to see it in Perth, and at Willowbank there's been 1 5 run there, but not by us, so we want to go down and run 2.
Semi-final time now for Top Doorslammer at the AC Delcos at Western Sydney. And how about Grant O'Rourke carrying some much-needed confidence into this one? And let's face it, you carry everything you possibly can short of an AK-47 to take on Victor BRAY.
Of course, absolutely. Grant O'Rourke, though, scorching run in the first round of eliminations. He's going to need another similarly strong run against the king of Doorslammer, the Castrol Edge 57 chef. Of course, for Western Sydney Dragway fans, this is a very good opportunity to see Doorslammer. We don't see them again until the Summer Nationals, around February 16, February 17. That's how long you've got to wait to see 18 Doorslammers. It's a record wait, a huge field here for the season opener at Western Sydney International Dragway.
Well, it says so much, doesn't it, about the popularity of the category. Both the fans know they want it and the teams know they want it as well, as we see Debbie O'Rourke walking around to the front of the car just to try and bring Grant into stage. Great family, sort of husband and wife duo. Debbie has done a bit of driving herself as well. Grant just seems to lack a bit of lady luck at times. Maybe he can put away the king. It'll be a massive drive job to do it.
Often Debbie Reid, you'll see her, Debbie O'Rourke, she'll walk away and not look at the pass. She'll just keep walking to the control tower. Will she have a look at this one? This is a big, big matchup. Victor BRAY, Grant O'Rourke head to head.
Oh, trouble for O'Rourke. A lot of fire. Oh, a lot of fire. An inferno here. The Skip Fire Service boys quickly on the move here. O'Rourke in some trouble. BRAY a 6.19 with a 1, but it is absolutely overshadowed by this wreck here.
Yeah, look at that. He's tagged the wall. The Skips Fire Service recovery crew, the safety safari here at Western City on the case. You see O'Rourke already out of the car. but that is a huge fireball. Of course, these cars often run containment devices. You can see he was back off and on the throttle there, and then trouble. So terrible luck for Grant O'Rourke. Victor BRAY strong. That is a massive fireball.
It gets worse there, doesn't it? Just kaboom right there. It is Molotov City. And the Skips Fire Service guys, look at that, straight onto the racetrack to follow as he pulls the car up softly into the wall. But well done, Victor BRAY, while all this is going on.
The car left pretty good down the bottom, and I still think we're a little bit light on the clutch. I think John Zappia is going to go a little bit faster than he has been all day, and he's been pretty tough. So I think we need to still step our game up a bit if we're going to match him in the final.
Yeah, the big fella very happy about that. His performance really overshadowed by O'Rourke's Inferno.
Yeah, and word is he's A-OK. He has suffered a bit of superficial burns to his eyebrows and eyelashes and that sort of thing, but the awesome safety equipment these guys have does count for plenty. That was a wild burnout there for John Zappia, the striker crushing and screening Monaro. Just a little twitchy on the conclusion of that big, strong burnout. Gary PHILLIPS, on the other hand, a very short burnout. Word is they were chasing some issues with this Lucas Oil Products Studebaker in the pits.
Zappia, very much an iconic figure of Western Australian motorsport. He's been known for years as Zap's Rat. That car up against an iconic Queenslander and a very proud East Coast domination of both top alcohol, and certainly he's had his forays towards the top in Doorslammer and Gary PHILLIPS.
Looking back 12 months ago, it was these two in that epic final. Gary PHILLIPS running a 6-0 with the whole shot start, but guess what? He lost the drag race to this man in the opposite lane. John Zappia, the West Aussie icon, as Wade has touched on, has got additional sponsorship support this year, and he's got the tune-up, got that Whipple supercharger, that lock-up clutch working to a nicety.
Oh, PHILLIPS left on the line, and Zap just cleans house. 6:01 with an 8. Hello, Mr. Zappia. He is absolutely flying the Sandgroper.
240 miles an hour, 6:01. That car is one of the world's best Doorslammers.
Oh, that was unreal. We come into stage and the dash went off, so I had no RPM or no shift lights or anything. I thought, oh well, I'm just going to drive this one. And staged it up, brought the revs up, took a guess, and away we went, you know, and I guess went to shift and all that, and it felt pretty good. A little bit slower into top gear, and 6:01, wow, excellent. There, the striker crushing Monaro's flying. Renco Transport Equipment Rentals, thanks very much. Trustec, Fuchs, all the sponsors on the car, excellent.
After having such a stellar breakout year in season 05-06, John Andropoulos was brought crashing down, like so many others, by the rain that marred the Castrol Edge Winter Nationals. On the brink of retiring after the season finale, thankfully John reconsidered and now has his set sight on the Pro Stock crown and possibly a few records along the way.
We worked so hard all year, and 10 points behind. You know, we had an engine on the dyno, we were making a little bit more power, and I thought, well, if I drive it properly, we can probably win the race. And our turn to have a run. I went to start it, it wouldn't start. I knew straight away it was an electrical problem, and I knew it was going to rain the next day, and I thought, well, we're screwed. So that was our championship gone.
Always known for his meticulous preparation, Andropoulos has put in a lot of work in the off-season to ensure the campaign starts with a bang.
We tested probably here 5 weeks ago, we ran 720 at 190.2. It was the fastest mile an hour ever in Pro Stock. We came here 2 weeks ago and we ran 718. And our team partner, Andrew Stravlakis, he ran 717. So they're both PRE powered cars, so we're quietly confident.
Pro Stock Eliminator, the distinctive engine note you hear now. And check out this car, Nick Zarakis up against the big bicep boy, Shane Tucker, and he was right up in the mix in the championship last season. We saw at the Castrol Edge Winter Nationals, he was in with a real shot of winning it.
Yeah, great car this, the advanced sheet metal and marine entry. It has beautifully turned out, this Pontiac. Just look at the dash there of the Shane Tucker car, and in stark contrast, if you can look inside some of the other cars, such as the Andropoulos cars and Zarakis, those guys that have all the big digital instrumentation on the dash. This thing certainly stands out, doesn't it? The Grand Am there of Tucker, beautifully turned out. I love the racing wheels as well. Coming into stage, Zarakis in the CV Racing entry up against Tucker, the poster boy of Pro Stock.
It's hard to miss Zarakis, isn't it, with the Dayglow car combination. The the C&V Performance Machine. Here we go, waiting for him to come in now, full stage. Very tight drag race from half track, but then Tucker steps it out and runs a very nice 7.33, 186 miles an hour, just under 300 Ks, 0.6 of a second in Pro Stock. That's a smashing win.
Team obviously very happy about that. Everything about the Tucker team is glamour, isn't it? Just amazing. Down the quarter mile is absolutely lethal. Zarakis just to the shift light just then, but it was too late. Tucker's in.
I don't know, the advanced sheet metal CNC motors, Grand Am, sort of coming around a little bit. Not the sort of pass we wanted. The thing was a bit loose, but the track wasn't quite there. But yeah, we're into another final and couldn't be happier. Honestly, to my team, John Smith, my dad, Rob, all my crew, Michael, Barney, all the boys, Al. Honestly, the best. And my girlfriend, Bree, thanks very much.
Second semi-stoush now, John Andropoulos. This event 2 years ago is when the K&N Filters Mopar Dodge Avenger was loaded off a container from the United States of America and jaws thundered on the ground. It set the sport in a whole new tangent. Well, Dennis Whiting has done the same thing. This is a GTO Pontiac, of course, back in its original mode as a Holden Monaro, two state-of-the-art Pro Stock cars and a huge semi-final matchup.
Yes, amazing, isn't it? Left-hand drive Monaro sitting on the line there in the hands of Whiting. I just love the K&N Ella Bache Mopar. Oh, there's a bit of concern over Andriopoulos taking their time to bring him in.
And that is tough because he was top qualifier. He set new national records, has got the bonus points, should I say, from the event in terms of the ANDRA Championship for this category. So hopefully everything's all right for the likeable John Andropoulos.
Whiting, a quiet achiever of Pro Stock racing. That beautiful entry. Look at the size of the scoop on that. Any mailman in Australia couldn't get the mail nailed in that thing. Watch for Whiting. It's going to be tough here, I think. He's a very consistent performer. He'll make you work for your money. Identical reaction times, Dino, but it's gone pear-shaped for Whiting, and look at Andriopoulos.
7.24 at over 300 kilometres an hour. Whiting looked good over the early increments, then maybe just spun the tyres a little too hard in the half-track point of that run. Let's have a look on the replay now. You see the beautiful car of Whiting there, just a hint of tyre problems getting off the groove. Yep, so the tune-up, the pass was there for Andropoulos. He's through to the final. The K&N Filters Mopar Bullet is into a final at the AC Delcos.
We had a little bit of a staging duel, but Dennis is a great competitor. The track is really loose. Man, they've got to do a lot of work on this damn thing. I was shaking the tyres all the way down, but we're lucky enough to get the win. Profab, K&N Filters, Premium Fulfillment, PRE Race Engines, we're back in the final.
Well, this man here, likeable character in the sport of drag racing, Michael Gilbertson, the Hog's Breath Cafe Kawasaki.
Yeah, great to see Gilbo back at Western Sydney, but he's up against one tough man here, taking purchase of two new NHRA spec Suzuki engines slotted into this K&N Filters machine, and we've seen the results, new national records in ET and speed from Daniel PEATEY. Awesome bike, world-class performance in the first round, a 7.0 something pass. That is as good as you get anywhere.
Well, as usual, a very laid-back demeanour, nothing too much in the intensity, just thinking about the job at hand as Gilbo, a self-confessed Cowboys fan, being from around the Townsville, Mackay side of things. Here we go. He's going to have to work hard to take care of PEATEY, but hey, you never know. Gilbo certainly has the runs on the board as well. Pumped? Just a bit. Wow.
PEATEY carrying that front wheel again. Let's look at the ET here. 7.10, 184 miles an hour. I mean, he's quicker than some of the top bike competitors that have basically nitromethane and other mechanical assistance. That bike is insanely quick.
Gilbo thought he was doing a reasonable job until, well, about a second into the battle. PEATEY runs it home and heads to the final.
Yeah, it felt pretty good. I was a bit sort of worried about the track because I've been going in before, but it seemed good, so it felt nice. It's hard to tell. Sometimes they feel quick and they're slow, and when they feel slow, they're quick, so it's hard to say.
Well, this is the second of our semi-finals, and Dion Prowse, who just loved to back that thing into a left-hander just once, the former solo Speedway racer, and Callum Gadesi. Now, you can never get an easy ride against Callum. I say that with knowing full well the easy part of his last name, but he is no pushover. Callum Gadesi is going to give Prowse something to think about here, I think, Dino.
What a light from Prowse, and trouble for Gadesi. Well, he's requesting a flyby, and he does it in style, 7.27. That thing does look like a jet, and that is as quick as that bike has gone. 182 miles an hour. Maybe he does have something for Peaty in this S&S Beast.
Watch the wriggle that Gadesi's bike gets here. It's very taily almost, and it gets the bike completely offline. He's desperately trying to get it back and stay on the gas. Can't do either. Drills the centre marker, and Prowse into the final.
Yeah, that was great, that pass. Hopefully I cut a good light, got all my shift points down pat. Made it to the finals on my first meeting in drag racing. So yeah, that's great.
As the doyen of top Doorslammer racing, it is fitting that Victor BRAY be at the cusp of any technological developments in the category. The lock-up clutch is just one such development that looks to be making waves in many Doorslammer pit areas, and after Zappia's success last season, BRAY's determined not to be left behind.
Basically, a lock-up clutch just gives you 2 clutch settings on the run itself. So what we could do before, we would have the clutch just a little bit light, and the car would ET real well and wouldn't mile an hour because the clutch would be slipping too much. If you put it a little bit too heavy, the car would spin the wheels at the start line, get down the track, run a big mile an hour because the clutch was locked up and you're using all the power in the top end. Now, we can leave the start line with one amount of weight, switch it over halfway down, have the other amount of weight to the top end of the track. I think we finally got some sense out of the lock-up clutches. There's like 2 sides of lock-ups. Obviously, there's the settings and that you put in them, then there's the physical side of setting them up. We're struggling a little bit with both of them, and then we did a couple of test days and found some stuff that we thought to ourselves was pretty interesting. So we followed it up, and on race day it paid off for us. So it's definitely the lock-up clutches. I said for a long time now that the lock-up clutches are going to be a turning point in top Doorslammer.
The BRAY family have forged a formidable partnership with Castrol Edge over the span of Victor's remarkable career, and now Castrol have also thrown their considerable support behind Victor's son, rising star and dual champion Ben BRAY.
You know, Castrol have been very loyal to us. They've been with us through the hard times, through the good times, through the easy times. You know, they've been with us all there, you know. They helped Dad out in his younger days of drag racing, like in the 80s, just to get where he's got today. You know, he probably owes 50% of his career to them. I owe 100% of my career to Castrol and my family. You know, everything that Castrol given Dad handed to me and gave me an opportunity to use, and Castrol backed me and supported me for it, and I owe a lot to them. Like, you know, it doesn't matter what I do, Castrol will always support me. They are like my family. All the guys in Castrol I get along with real well. Like, I have a lot of the big bosses coming out to this event, and I haven't actually had them do a drag race for a while, and it's good when you know they're excited to come watch your race, because it obviously means they like the sport as well. So, you know, they'll be here later on in the afternoon to watch the eliminations, and I hope I can impress them with some good stuff. And, you know, like, I guess, like you say, looking after a sponsor is more loyalty. You look after your sponsors and they'll look after you.
Okay, we move through to the final of Pro Stock Motorcycle, and 2 of the new combinations, it's fair to say, in the sport. I mean, we've seen Daniel PEATEY in the sport for some time, Wade, but he's got new engine capacity up against a brand spanker machine, Dion Prowse, and that S&S machine, part of the Brett Stevens empire.
Just does the minimal burnout there, Dino, just enough to get the heat of that rear tyre. And as always, just walk the bike up into the staging line. The Brett Stevens Racing entry, Mouse Prowse set. Is he going to be able to do the job on PEATEY? Well, PEATEY ran a 7.1, Prowse a 7.27 with a 7. The numbers are in PEATEY's favour. We know that means nothing when it comes to the final.
Yeah, we saw at the Castrol Edge Winter Nationals, PEATEY had some trouble in the final. Got popped a red light, got outdone at the tree.
Oh, reaction time of Prowse was what he needed. Yes, I think he got there.
Oh, what a win. That is a monumental whole shot margin of victory. Are you ready? 6/1000ths of a second, and that's why it is cool to have the timer start on the flash of the light. You've got to outdrill your rival. He's got the slightly slower bike in terms of testing and tuning, it's fair to say, but that Speedway solo background didn't hurt Prowse. He nailed the start gate very nicely. Thank you very much.
From tapes to lights, well done, Dion Prowse.
That's amazing. First meeting, won the final. I don't know what to say. Yeah, I'd like to thank Brett, the boss, S&S, East Coast Customs, High Tech Oils, everything what the whole team has done for me. Wow, I'm speechless. This is amazing.
Let's have a look at the championship point score after round one. Good sportsmanship. Dion Prowse leads at the rookie from Peaty, Gilbertson, Gadisi and Weston. What a great start for the bracket.
Well, here we go. Pro Stock final time now, and Shane Tucker in the far lane, the advanced sheet metal and marine entry. And alongside him is John Andriopoulos, Australia's fastest beautician.
This is a big moment for John Andropoulos Way for the simple fact that he went to the Castrol Edge Winter Nationals, had a realistic chance of securing the Australian Pro Stock Championship. We saw drama. They had engine troubles when it counted, unfortunately. That PRE engine had not missed a beat for the entire championship until the final hurdle. First round of the new season. He wants to get off on a real strong footing here, and he needs to put away Tucker here because he is going to be one of the contenders for the championship.
Well, you know, beauty therapists, they sell anti-aging and anti-wrinkle cream in tubes. I think they should sell it with this race car. What is going on? They're pushing him back.
Looks like he's got trouble there. We saw some troubles in the semi-final, but they managed to overcome that. So the bad luck has bitten them again. Can you believe it? And Shane Tucker gets off to a flyer. The young gun, the runner-up in the championship last year, off on a flyer at the first round of the 06-07 season.
Heartbreaking for Andriopoulos. Showtime for Tucker now. Look at the reaction time. You might as well have a crack at it. 3/1000th of a second, and he runs an 8.2 in the end, which is nothing really, but how about the reaction time?
Oh, he chased the Christmas tree, as he said. He could go at it with full tilt, but Shane Tucker, he leads the championship. He takes out the AC Delco event.
We struggled to get here. We had so many dramas. I mean, there's so many people. I've got to thank John Smith for giving me the opportunity. This is the best way we wanted to start the season, and my dad's worked his absolute butt off to get here. All my team, Michael, Barney, Al, they've all been flawless through the whole last season, and this year we've started off great.
Very well presented and very quick. Shane Tucker leads the Pro Stock point score after round one from John Andropoulos, Dennis Whiting, Nick Zarakis and Andrew Stavroulakis.
Here he is. Is he the man that would be king? Top Doorslammer, West Aussie hero, John Zappia, up against the true, undisputed king of Victor BRAY.
Look at them file into this arena, Wade. They have been waiting for this one. Two of the giants of drag racing, not just Doorslammer. Both laying down some rubber in the burnout too.
Just watching them go almost full length of the track then, just incredible. I thought Victor might just roll past Zappia to say, yeah, I can still do them bigger than you. What an impressive sight. Two of the guys, the old-timers of Doorslammer, like to do things their way, but at the same time, keeping up with the newest trends. The body stylings might be the old way, but the thinking is still leading edge.
You can see the fireworks packed on the right side of the Western Sydney International Dragway venue. Fireworks not required in this matchup. The final of Top Doorslammer at the AC Delco East Coast Nationals. The striker, crusher and screening machine of John Zappia. Still getting some great support too from Renko, heavy equipment transport and rentals. Of course, Victor BRAY though, the Castrol 57 Chev. Well, he is the king of Doorslammer. Great to see him in a final weight for several seasons. Victor has been a slow starter in the championship run, but and come on strong at the business end. If he can take this one, what a way to kick off a new season.
He's such an ambassador too for the sport, just loves meeting the fans. He travels a rigorous schedule of public appearances that would rival that of the late great Peter Brock. He's certainly an iconic Australian motorsport figure. As we get set, the two of them squaring off. Zappia v BRAY at the AC Delcos.
Pre-stage lights, revs building up. Big time matchup. And Zappia's the man, 6:01, 242 miles an hour. Not quite 5 seconds, but he got the win. Victor BRAY, 6:29. He has gone quicker than that, but John Zappia, the lock-up master, does it again.
A .05 reaction time for Victor, had him out of the hole first. But just look at that. Zappia drives right around him and heads towards victory lane at the AC Delcos.
I'd like to thank Striker Crushing, Renko, Fuchs Oil, Fuchs Lubricants, Trust Tech Steel Roofing Systems. It's also the fastest steel roof in the world. Oh God, we got Spoiler Factory, Crow Cams, Rocket Industries, Weld Wheel, Southside Engine Centre, Baz's Precision Repair, Malibu Fresh Essentials, Kernus Metal Industries. There's just so many people that have helped. Better Spud. Oh my God, Mickey Thompson Tyres. They've just done a wonderful job this weekend. It's just been on rails, run like clockwork, 6.0s, 6.01s, and I was sure that was a 5 then. It just felt a little bit better than the rest, but it's other times you just can't tell.
A jubilant Zappia team crawl out of the Tarago. Zappia with the championship lead over Bray, Phillips, O'Rourke, Kapiris, Stanik, Bray and Lynch. What a year ahead.
Coming up after the break, we look back on the 4th round of the 2010 Monster Energy Super X Supercross Series, incorporating the Australian Supercross Championship.